All right, 6:42 on your Wednesday. We're watching the cooler weather here, but also that Hurricane Melissa and all the damage it's leaving behind.
Just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know, the strongest hurricane to ever hit the island of Jamaica. It did make landfall in Cuba this morning. It's made a second landfall as a Category 3 storm, and now it goes up to the Bahamas. And we know as the sun comes up this morning, we're going to start to have a better idea of exactly what the damage looks like. And even then, it'll take kind of days and weeks as folks still don't have any service, and we still can't really get into contact with those areas that were the hardest hit. So our hearts go out to all the people of Jamaica, Cuba, and now the Bahamas this morning as that storm just continues to wreak havoc. I tell you what, it has just been kind of a meteorological phenomenon for what it has done. It did make landfall yesterday right around lunchtime here, Oklahoma time, noon, with 185-mile-per-hour winds in the southwestern sides of Jamaica. Then again this morning around 2 o'clock, it made landfall in Cuba as a Category 3 storm with winds at 120 miles per hour. It is still a major hurricane as it heads up to the Bahamas. So this one will go down in the history books. Again, still a Category 3 storm, and it will weaken as it heads towards the Bahamas this afternoon. Should be down to a Category 2 storm and then eventually up into the Atlantic, and it does not impact the United States. But oh my gosh, just a heartbreaker, and that is just kind of taken the minds and the hearts of so many as we're just watching for what that destruction and damage will look like here in the coming days. So thinking about all of them back here at home, the big deal, the frost, the freeze, the cooler temperatures, and the cold front that came through yesterday. Tomorrow morning will be the coldest temperatures that we have had since back in the spring. Actually, our first opportunity for a freeze here in Oklahoma City. Not locked in that we exactly hit 32 degrees at Will Rogers, but I think the western sides of the metro will hit 32 or below. So our freeze zone here extends from Alva, Enid, back down to the south and to the west, and then a hard freeze expected in the Panhandle, which is when temperatures drop 28 degrees or below. And that is very, very cold. The frost zone from Oklahoma City off to the east. So there are frost and freeze watches in effect for areas west of Oklahoma City and a warning up in the north and west. The good news, we're dry here on your Wednesday morning. This time yesterday, we had rain and thunderstorms. It was a sticky and a wet morning drive, several accidents, nothing like that here on your Wednesday, and actually no rain chances on your 9-day forecast, especially on Halloween. Here's the Broadway extension. If you're headed into Oklahoma City right now, good to go. Traffic moving along nicely here at 6:45. We're 45 degrees, so it's a chilly start, but it feels like 37. This time tomorrow morning, we're going to be about 10 degrees colder. So big changes coming as that colder air continues filtering in with the northwest wind. It's 42 in Weatherford, Cordell to Clinton, you're 41 degrees. Rush Springs to Chickasha, 44, and Jones, 45 degrees right now. Up in the north and west, we've got more 30s and a few 20s in the far western sides of the Panhandle. Here's the big deal for your Wednesday. Winds are still very strong, if not a little bit stronger than yesterday. Out of the northwest with gusts 25, 30 to 35 miles per hour, gusting to 32 right now here in Oklahoma City. And really the strongest winds right now are across northern Oklahoma. The bad news, winds will continue to increase through the morning here. So our wind chill values anywhere from now some teens in the Panhandle to the 20s and the 30s. And even though our afternoon temperatures climb into the mid-50s, we're going to feel like the 40s all day long because of the wind. By 9 to 10 o'clock this morning, we expect winds to gust 45 to 50 miles per hour. They should peak around lunchtime and then begin to diminish some into the afternoon. Still a very windy day, so make sure you tie down anything that you don't want down the street. Overnight tonight, winds are going to lighten up significantly, and that is what will allow temperatures to tumble during the overnight hours. Here are your highs for today, mid-50s, a few low 60s down to the south, and overnight tonight, 20s and 30s. 33 will be our morning low tomorrow in Oklahoma City. It's not out of the question that we do hit the freezing mark. We'll watch that very closely, but for sure a freeze for areas west of Oklahoma City and then frost for the areas in pink. So make sure you protect the plants if that's something that you're concerned about. Even though tomorrow morning is a very cold start, the afternoon's pretty pleasant, still chilly with temperatures in the upper 50s, the low 60s, and light winds. For your Friday, we'll have a few clouds around, picture perfect trick-or-treating weather with temperatures falling into the mid-50s by the time the kiddos hit the roads to go get that candy. The weekend looks awesome, little cooler on Saturday, Sunday with more sunshine. We'll start to warm it back up with the south wind, and that is the end of daylight saving. Next week we're dry, seasonably cool with sunshine. Guys, back over to you.